Hey everybody, I pray that you're having an incredible week. And if you're not, then I pray in the name of everything that is holy that it will get better. So let's talk Bible real quick. I don't know, let's talk Bible, let's talk religion, and let's talk about my favorite character in the Bible, which happens to be, consequently, John the Baptist. Of course, other than Yeshua, Jesus raised the dead, healed the sick, walked on water, turned water into wine, multiplied bread and fish, and pretty cool. But other than the main guy, my favorite Bible character would be John the Baptist. For many reasons. One of them probably because he had an uncanny ability to be able to anger the religious spirit. And I'm saying angering the religious spirit so that I don't anger your religious spirit if you have one. Because he pissed everybody off is what he did. He did. I mean, he had the patriarchal lineage to be able to wear the robes of the religious community in the synagogue if he wanted to. But he had no desire with religion. He didn't want to be in the synagogue. He didn't care about washing your hands and cleansing your body and making sure your fingernails were just clean enough and just right enough so that you could enter into the Holy of Holies. No, he just wanted to be out there with the people, baptizing people, and baptizing people. And I think that's pretty cool. And so he was literally the most non-religious, religious figure in the New Testament. And hear that. He was the most, in my opinion, non-religious, religious figure in the Old Testament. And that's largely why I like him. And I think I've proved that I like him. I mean, I named my own son after him. My son is named not after one, but two badass prophets. One in the Old Testament and one in the New Testament. Elijah John, that's my son's name. One of them calls fire from heaven, and the other one pokes at the religious heart and gets to the matter of it. And I love that about him. But not only is John the Baptist one of my favorites, but guess who else really liked him? Yeshua. Yeah, Jesus. You know what Jesus said about him? Jesus said that there's never been a greater man born of women than John the Baptist. Now, most men that I've met have been largely born of women. And by most, I mean all. So there's a lot of ground to cover there. So basically, Jesus is saying, John's my favorite. He was the greatest. But then later on, John goes to prison, and he has his disciples ask Jesus a question that I find absolutely just baffling. And it is this. John sends the disciples to ask Jesus this question. He said, "Are you really the one we've been waiting for? Or should we wait for another?" What? Why is John asking such a question? This is John the Baptist. This is the one that made the initial proclamation that, behold, the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world. This is the same John the Baptist that was arguing with Jesus about, you shouldn't baptize me, or I shouldn't baptize you, you should baptize me. This is the same John the Baptist that was saying things like, I'm not even worthy to untie your Nike sandals. I'm living. But yeah, and now he goes from that to, are you really the one, or should we look for another? And I'm sure John the Baptist heard the testimonies of those who have been disenfranchised from society and the way that Jesus was loving them. I'm sure that he heard the testimonies of those who were sick, and of those who were lepers, and of those who were sexually explicit, and of those who were addicted to substances. And Jesus was just loving them. And John the Baptist is like, whoa, man, this guy, maybe he's a little out there in the way he's loving people. Shouldn't there be some judgment or wrath or something? And Jesus is just loving them. And I love that Jesus is unequivocally unwilling to bow his knee and abandon the way in which he chose to love people in order to appease the religious spirit that has a tendency to divide instead of unite between and creates illegal lines of division between those who deserve to be loved and those who need to modify their behavior. And Jesus is like, no, I'm going to love them all. And I'm not gonna change the way that I love people. I'm not gonna do it for the religious community. I'm not gonna do it for the Pharisees. I'm not gonna do it for the Sadducees. I'm not gonna do it for the Zealots. I'm not gonna do it for all the reputable members of the Sanhedrin. I'm not gonna do it for John's disciples, and I'm not even gonna do it for John himself, even though, according to Jesus, John was the greatest. There's a message there. And all I would say to you is, let's love people the way Jesus loved people. So extreme that it brings an offense to the religious heart. Radical love and kindness to everyone. Have an incredible week.